welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. I have here Ivan Bebek, Executive Chairman of Auryn Resource. Welcome,
Thank you for having me.
So you just finished financing. Can you describe what you have? That's perfect timing because the market just cratered and then you just close it.
You know, we've been very strategic with our financings. We have about 104 million shares out. We can put about 75 million into one room. And we've been very fortunate with who our shareholders are, and we were able to attract some other marquee shareholders here. It's not your traditional financing. It was not a bought deal with the market. It was a non-brokered private placement at $1.60 per share with no warrant. Our methodology here has been going after world-class discoveries, which, as you know, take time. We've raised 100 million before this financing, and where we see ourselves is some really good high-quality opportunities that are coming out of Peru that have a lot higher probability from the early stuff we've been trying in Canada. And there's no shortage of other companies paying attention. So we want to be defensive with our shareholder base. We also have designed our share structure to perform if we make a discovery. When you have the kind of control, or not control, but the kind of shareholder base that we have that's been trained through our past successes and continues to finance us in our current opportunity, when discoveries are made, the likelihood of everybody looking for higher prices together is there. So the timing was serendipitous towards the correction on Friday. We closed the second tranche on Thursday. It put us in a very defensive cash position. I was listening to some other industry experts talk about the crash, and they said if companies aren't financed, there's a lot of risk to the downside. So we've taken that risk out. And now we're on that home stretch to go get some permits to drill in Peru, and a lot of exciting things happen this year for us ahead of us.
Oh, great. You mentioned in your talk optionality. Can you describe to our viewers what it is?
Sure. So we built a portfolio of 7 projects, and we worked with Newmont's former global exploration team, which means really big swings. Everything we look for has to meet the scale of world class. 3 things stand out. Committee Bay and Homestake, they're the most mature. That's in Canada. But in Peru, obviously a different jurisdiction, Sombrero has taken a really, really strong tier 1 exploration look on the other half of a major copper belt, copper gold belt, is what we're looking at with what we've been sampling. And then this thing called Curibaya that kind of came while we were waiting for drill permits at Sombrero. It's showing us some of the best grades we've seen in precious metals in our careers. A lot of multi-kilo silver, a lot of multi-gram gold, and people get excited when you talk about grade, and they want to assume you're just high grading it and whatnot. And we are sampling veins, and we don't hide from that at all. But the veins are radiating off of some domes, which is where we believe the target's going to be. And what we want to drill is high grade, low tonnage. It's a low sulfidation system, but really high grade. We want to find the source of where all this high grade's coming from. So the optionality is that we've talked about openly of splitting our company into 3, giving shareholders 2 more shares. 1 for Curibaya, 1 for the Canadian stuff, and we keep our Sombrero share. And why we thought of this is because we're only getting paid for Sombrero right now. We get no value for other assets. The second point is the desire to spread the risk and spread the opportunity into these other entities. It also reduces our burn rate considerably, and it makes the amount of money going into the ground, that ratio versus burn rate, much higher per company. So we're going to end up, if we do this, with 3 entities that have a really high ratio of money in the ground, which is how we'll make money through discovery. And we had some benchmarks I talked about in my speech that we wanted to see, and they're happening now before we consider a spinco. And one of them is the PEA that's coming out on Homestake, expected mid-March. We think that's going to be a very deep value proposition for the Canadian entity. The other one is permits for Sombrero,
yes,
which
that's what
people.
Next question.
Your next question. People have talked about these taking a very long time, and being at the forefront of everyone's investment, including my own, as a large shareholder. I share that frustration to the nth degree, but we did achieve our DIA, which is the environmental permit. This is the long one that we need of 2 in about 6.5 months, which is the fastest one in the last several years in Peru, which is a substantial compliment to our team working in Peru. As you know, we've done tons of social stuff, and that's the next permit we're going to need. We've done a lot of agricultural programs. We continue to do them. We think this next phase will be much quicker than the first, which took 6.5 months. So while you wait, our considerations are SpinCo. We have maturity coming out of Canada with the PA and Homestake. We have permit advancement. And then Curibaya is just getting started. They resume work on it March 15th. And there'll be a lot of more news to come out of there. And the theme of Curibaya, much like Sombrero, it's gotten better every time we've gone to the project. And this is what happened in Keegan when we found our 5 million ounce gold mine in West Africa. It happened in Caden before the buyout happened with Agnico Eagle. When you get on a project and you're getting into discovery, there's always been a theme of things just keep getting better as we work our way through the exploration. It does not guarantee a discovery by any means, but coming out of this, if we can enter this bull market with 3 shares, a Sombrero share, a Curibaya share, and a Canadian gold share, I think we've given our shareholders a tremendous opportunity to win more than once, and we look forward to that as a possibility in the coming months.
Wow, great. So basically, when do you plan to drill those Peruvian targets? And do you expect the time frame?
I think we're definitely inside of about, I wouldn't say inside of, but it would be between 3 to 4 months before we can probably drill Sombrero. That's been conservative, and I'd rather err on conservative because we don't control Peruvian government entities, but we're doing everything we can to make that as efficient and as short of a timeline as possible. Secondly, Curibaya does not need a DIA. It does not need a social permit. It's a much different permit. It's called an FTA, which has been known to take between 4 to 6 months start to finish. We plan to finish our targeting in the next few months and have a drill permit for Curibaya by year end. So for us, I think strategy of who we bring on as investors, what kind of projects we're going after, and market timing has to all coalesce so that we can be drilling these big discoveries into the bull market. There's a lot of luck involved here. We've been very lucky with a lot of things, but I think our biggest appreciation has been the patience of our shareholders and the opportunity in front of us being as big as it is on multiple fronts.
Okay, great. That's a great story, Evan. Hopefully next metal investment we can hear some of your great results.
We look very forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.